Okay, looks like we are on air. So welcome everyone to the City Council Oversight Committee meeting of Thursday, May 9th, 2024. We originally had 3 items on our agenda. Item number 2 has been pulled. We're going to get a presentation from the Cleveland County Health Department next month in Oversight. So we'll just have the 2 items, item number 1 and item number 3. So we will start with our emergency shelter update. April couldn't be here today, so we have a representative. Michael, if you would like to introduce yourself and then just give us the overview of everything.
I'm Michael Hillary. I'm the Director of Operations at Food and Shelter. I don't work at the night shelter. I do clean it from time to time, but I'll answer what I can. Anything that I can't answer, I'll get that information to April for you so that you can get an answer. Last month was a good month for us. In April, we only had to call emergency services 3 times. 2 of those were for medical reasons. One of those was an officer assist for an interpersonal relationship issue that we were able to get solved. And then we were able to get 3 people bus tickets home that we could verify that they had a place to go. Because as you know, we don't send people places to be homeless. So once verified, we were able to get 3 people to a place where they could have a home. And then we were able to help 3 other people get housed. So that was good progress. Total stays were 1,538. Unique guests were 101. And that's about 60-40 between men and women and 1 person that doesn't specify. 7 of those were veterans. And then it breaks down the age range. Did you want me to go into that, or is that sufficient? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, great. And our nightly average is about 51 people a night. Any questions?
Councilmember Holman?
So the nightly average, I know the capacity is 55, and it was seemingly at the capacity every night. Has there been a slight reduction?
So maybe a slight reduction on the female side. I know the men's side has been really, really full.
Okay. And I noticed the 60 men, 40 women, and it seems like, I know April's mentioned that one of the groups that's seeing the most increase is domestic violence victims, survivors, and I feel like it used to be almost entirely men in the shelters and some women, and now it seems like it's getting closer to being even.
I can tell you just on a daily basis, I deal with a good balance of men and women. Whatever we're going through right now, it's affecting, both sexes.
And for the past several months, April has told us that roughly 30% of the people staying at a friend's house have an income of some kind, that they either do have a job that they go and work every day, or they have disability or Social Security. Is that still probably about accurate?
Yeah, and for the people that don't, we try to help them gain access to
If they have
pathways
benefits
towards.
that are out there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you mentioned 3 emergency calls, 2 for medical reasons. Okay, that's pretty good, I think. Any other notable issues or things that have been going on?
No, it seems like it's going down a good path. We're having a lot of success, and I'm really enjoying what we're doing.
Okay. And then are you seeing a lot of new people, or is it mostly the same folks? And when I say new, is there an influx of people identifying as being from out of Norman, out of Oklahoma, out of the country?
That would be a great April question. Okay. As far as my experience, I'm not experiencing a lot of new people per se. And a lot of times I'll experience and interact with a lot of the same people because they just go from the night shelter and come get breakfast and interact with me. But I'm not noticing a significant change in as far as who our population is.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay,
All right, that's
thank you
it.
very much. Yeah.
My pleasure. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
You too. Okay, so we will move to item number 3, which is a discussion regarding possible amendments to the cell tower ordinance. So I think we have Jane Hudson, Planning Director.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Hi.
So I'm bringing this item forward. This came through discussion with several other communities, as well as I think the city manager had been in communication with some of the other city managers within the area. And the proposal is to, so currently, this is regarding our setbacks from cell towers. Currently, our ordinance requires that there be a 200-foot setback from the boundary of the property zoned or used for residential purposes, or 200 feet from any residential structure on the same lot. Historically, I want to say our towers have varied between 180 up to 200 feet, because 200 feet is the maximum that they can go to. As years have gone by, I think they've just increased from the 180 up to 200, but there are some around the older ones that are 180. So when we have this 200-foot setback in place, those that are 180, they're still having to adhere to the 200 if you want to redevelop with a structure around it. So the proposal would be that we would change it to this verbiage, and we would just be basing the setback on the height of the tower itself instead of the set 200 feet. So, you know, again, like we have some of the other, the older towers that are 180 or 190, then if anybody came in and redeveloped, they could reduce that setback area.
Councilmember Holman?
I don't know, what's the range of heights of cell towers, I guess? I know some antennas can be 1,000, 2,000 feet tall. I don't know if those are cell towers.
Probably, yeah, those are a little bit different. Actually, in the zoning code, we do have a stipulation, so we do have very few, but I guess at the time when this was written, there were some that were also going into some of the parkland areas, the zoning parkland, and then also the C1. And then if they're in those two districts, they may not exceed 90 feet. So for those two districts. But Councilmember Holman, if you look at the television and radio transmission towers, I think some of those can go up to 1,000 feet. I don't know. Those are a lot different than what we're dealing with, because we're dealing with these single monopoles that they're putting multiple carriers on, and so it's just the monopole, and then they wrap 3 layers or however many layers they can get on there for the individual carriers. We'll end up with 4 or 5 carriers on some of these towers. But that's it. It's just a very it's one line within the commercial communications ordinance in the zoning ordinance that we would be proposing to change.
I'm just curious for the past reasoning of why it was a 200-foot setback.
I wasn't here, or I wasn't working on this at that time. I'm guessing that 200 feet is probably the standard, or maybe it is a maximum for the monopoles as far as engineering is concerned. I don't know. I didn't deal with it, but we have had some that have gone to Board of Adjustment to go over that 200 feet. I think we had one that went in the last couple of years. I think they wanted to go like 210 or something like that. But again, 200 is typically what we see today. Historically, we have had some that have been shorter.
So, if I'm understanding this correctly, the tower cannot be closer than it is tall to any structure? Okay. So basically, like, if it were to fall down, it won't hit
Right.
a structure. Okay.
Right.
'Cause I was like trying to wrap my head around
No,
exactly what that meant, and so okay, that makes me feel
Or the
better. I was like,
height is,
I'm
it's gotta be the same.
okay. So if it's 90 feet tall, then the setback would be
Actually, in that case, they're, because of the zoning that they're in, the parkland and the
Yeah.
C1, that's actually twice the distance.
okay.
It's a little bit different.
Okay. But if they were 180, then they couldn't. So, like, say the setback was 180 in some of the older places, it couldn't be taller than 180.
Correct. If you have structures there, yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So just streamlining to say, however close they are.
And it's mirroring what some of the other communities have in place too.
Okay. Other questions?
You asked my question.
Okay. Just a clarifying thing. Okay. That seems fine. I guess we'll have another very short,
Very short.
committee meeting. We've been trying to get the item number 2 on the agenda for 2 months. So, unfortunately, I guess since we have nothing else to discuss, this meeting is adjourned. Shorter than the last meeting, but.